Top done. What's going on? And on today's episode, we're back to brass prepping. It's probably one of my least favorite parts of it, but it's got to get done. It's all in a part of it. Looks like fun amusement park right now there. Yeah, it is, Grant. Makes my hands hurt like all heck, but it's alright. A lot of guys skip this step, but I'm not skipping this. I see why they skip it though. I mean, it takes time. Your strong hands though, yeah. It'll definitely give you a workout for your hands. More of the grip strength than anything. You got to kind of put pressure on this. I'd say more. It's more like a pinch type of strength. It's not for the weak-handed. I'd say that for sure. And these pieces of brass in particular have crimps in them, kind of like Lake City brass. So I'm having to do a little extra work with these ones. But that's all right. It's got to get done. I guess it does kind of look like an amusement park there. Brass goes on a nice little ride. Ketchup belongs on steak. Man, you guys are killing me with these usernames. I started buying reloading equipment. This is pretty cool. So, ironically enough, this case prep station I bought 3 or 4 years ago. Once I actually started getting serious about reloading, and I went to a small reloading store, and the guy was starting me off with like a single stage press. But he said, yeah, you're going to need this and this and that. And I just thought it looked cool. But years later, once I finally started using it, and I'm like, man, I'm really glad I bought that when I did. Grant, brass costs around 50% the most on the first load. Yeah, no kidding. This is all factory, once fired brass. I haven't even started reloading my twice fired brass yet for 223, but I'm working on it. But I got to get this stuff prepped. This is definitely I'd say this is one of the most painful rifle loads to reload, just in my opinion. I'm just not going to, pay for stock brass or stock ammunition because I know how much this stuff costs to actually make them, and it drives me nuts. I mean, for 20 of these, it's like $17 or what, $10 or something like that, something goofy. Joseph, how many times can you reload brass? It really depends on how you prep it. So what I'm doing right now is a big part in how many times you can reload it. Uh, you can anneal the brass to keep it stronger from getting brittle and cracking. And I would say with this 223 brass, you can probably reload it 5, 6, 7, 8 times if you keep the brass in shape and you don't load the loads hot. Grant, there is a free outdoor range in Indio, California. I went out there once a while and collect free brass. Yeah, that's how you got to do it, Grant. Any free brass is good brass. You just got to inspect it because a lot of the guys at the ranges don't know what they're doing. So you'll get brass from the ranges that looks like this. That blew up in somebody's gun. I don't know what happened, but it definitely is not good. And I got hundreds of pieces like that. This one is a cracked 357. So somebody didn't have a good day getting that out. And you'll get stuff like this where it jams inside the gun. So people got to force it out. See, Minnie said 7-8 times per case is a lifetime. Yeah, I mean it all depends. Like I said, it's dependent on everything. Maybe too many power. Yeah, they probably charged it too much. That could definitely be a factor in it. But it's really all about preference. Depends on the caliber and cartridge. Bottleneck 6 to 8 times, I would say. Straight wall, like 45-70, quite a lot more. I have some reloaded around 15-18 times. They're still good. That's a lot of reloads, man. That is a 15-18 times. Yeah, I gotta start 45-70. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Nice little fun round. VRS 4570. Is that where your name came from? That's pretty cool. I mean, this is just small 223 rounds. But I would rather make this stuff myself and know that I have it. So when we actually go to the range to have fun, we're not worried about, oh, I just shot, $300 in ammo and now we're out. I wouldn't really say you're saving a whole lot doing this, but you're definitely saving some. As long as you collect the brass at the end. If you just throw the brass down the range, and you're pretty much starting back to zero if you don't have any. Joseph, sweet. I have no idea, although you mark them as to not outlive the shell's life. Yeah, give me 1 second and I'll actually show you. So if you were to go on my other videos on the channel, every piece of a completed round, I mark them just so we know, how many times it's been shot, or if it's new brass or whatever. If it's one shot brass, it's usually only going to have one Sharpie on there like that. One more thing, you take off quite a lot of brass there in the first two steps. Is that really necessary? I do steps 2, but too much, more gentle, with less aberration. Looks a little excessive. So it is a little excessive. I'm pretty picky on how I like to make my 2-3 rounds. This is just preference. A lot of guys, they'll do just a little bit off, but ballistics wise, I'm pretty particular, even with just range stuff that we're just going to shoot for fun. I'm pretty particular, and I found that this is more how do I say, it provides a little more accuracy, even though I am taking quite a bit of brass off of there, as you can see. But it really cleans up the inside of that bottle. But it just helps with accuracy, that's all. Grant, 173 viewers and only 2 likes. Come on, chat. This isn't something that a lot of people understand. Most people just click on it and they just think it's, something cool to watch. But, other guys will come in like a lot of you guys and they'll know what I'm doing. So it's not exactly a, you know, very engageful viewer. I mean, at the peak, I think there was like 254 people in here, but I'm not really worried about it. I just kind of like showing what I'm doing. What caliber is that? That is 223. Believe me, this is quite a bit of work, but that's all right. It's better than sitting on my phone watching shorts or something all day. If you enjoy them, then it's not work. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean I do enjoy this. It's more fun than anything. I think it's more satisfying knowing when you go to the range that you made all this, and you're able to see everybody else enjoy it. Definitely get a lot of looks. People say, "Oh man, they've been here for 2 hours shooting, and they still have ammo." It's like, well, yeah. I mean, you spend hours, at night and or whatever, and you're not doing nothing. There's a lot of guys that go to the range. They'll bring 3 or 4 boxes of ammo, and they're with their buddies or whatever, and they'll call it good. I mean, we'll be there for 2 3 hours. So that's one advantage over it. But this is all just prep work right now. I usually try not to let that bottom tray get too full before I sweep it down. But I mean, if it's the middle of the night and I mean you got nothing going on, and you're awake and you got the energy, and this is the perfect time to do this. Or if it's really like rainy outside or it's snowing or something, you don't feel like watching a movie or going to bed or whatever. Some guys watch a movie while doing this stuff too. I was listening to the news, but it decided to pause itself. You see, your fingers will get really chewed up and put so much pressure on it. Joseph, I'm interested in reloading ammo. So, how much would a setup to do it cost, excluding materials? It really depends on what you're loading. If you're doing handgun or rifle, if you're doing handgun, it can range anywhere from 150 to 300 bucks just to start, in my opinion. If you're doing a rifle and you're doing it, want to do it the right way, maybe a couple $100 to start. Just get basic equipment like a single stage or something. It all really depends on preference. But my advice, Joseph, is read a lot of reloading manual books and do a lot of online research before you start doing this, because you can cause some catastrophic damage to people and yourself if you don't do it right. And you always want to be safe. I like to go on forums, and then if you're on social media like Facebook or Reddit, you can just type in reloading, even reloading for beginners. There's groups, there's threads, there's all types of stuff that you can read and ask questions, and people are more than willing to help you out. I try to answer questions for new reloaders as much as I can. And when I reload, I mean, I'm more specific. I do everything by head stamp, even 9mm, believe it or not. For all you experienced guys, I reload everything by head stamp because one thing I've learned working in this field professionally is that every manufacturer is different. Some can be really finicky about their tolerances, like, you know, this federal brass here. I know they're very specific specifications, and they tend to do a lot of their brass short, and that's one thing I know. So when I am actually making ammo, and it's ready to be made, I know that it's going to be shorter than the typical piece of 223 brass from a different manufacturer. Oh, that would itself pay off soon. Yeah, I've been reading reloading books that my father-in-law gave me. Yeah, read them front to back. You know, that's probably the best piece of advice I can give you. Just read as much as possible. Watch YouTube videos. A lot of guys do this, but you gotta do it right, because you end up with squibs, misfires, overchargers. So what are you getting, Justin? So what are you getting ready? 308 win? No, that's probably going to be next on the channel here. This is just 223. I got quite a bit of brass, so it definitely needs to get done. Rifle brass, I like to take my time on. I'm curious, does the brass dust that is coming off the cartridge going to affect the reloading process, or is it going to affect anything? So what I'm doing is just preparing the brass. This is more for accuracy. Some guys have different preferences for different stuff. This is just for ballistic purposes. I've tested enough of this ammo, so I know what's going to shoot right and shoot good. Uh, Shaving this stuff off, it can affect it if you do it too much. But this is definitely something that needs to get done with specifically rifle brass. Regardless, some guys skip the step, and more power to them, but I know better than to do that. Hopefully that answers. James, do you not measuring the neck of your brass? How do you know you're not taking too much off? It's from hundreds of hours of testing. Hundreds of hours. The most brass people have stock off. Yeah, that's funny. Now all this brass at the bottom here, this is all from probably 70 rounds. So don't let it fool you. All right, man, you got a sub. I appreciate it. I try to go live whenever I can. I like to have a quiet environment when I do it, so it's not blazing in the background. That's why it's 5 o'clock in the morning I'm doing this. Colee's in here. Wow. Yes, we are live right now. Come and join the party. Ooh, that's what you don't want to see. That one wasn't even deprimed. That one's no good. Joseph, I just made a setup for 3,000 for 3,000 for 5.56 and 30-06. Splurged on dies, 600 to 1,000, probably goes towards consumables instead. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, David. Like I said, it all depends on preference. You know, a lot of guys like different stuff, different manufacturers as far as presses and things. So you skipped over my question. I just see a question mark. I don't see anything. I mean, you could just show up and ask it in front of my face instead of sitting behind a camera and scared. And we got excess corn cob media in there. Gotta get that cleaned out. What do you think about Hornady bullets for 223? The brand is pricey. So specifically with Hornady, I love their tumblers, their M1 tumblers. But the Hornady bullets, if you're going to be loading for 223 Hornady bullets, I would strictly stick to hunting. If you're going to buy Hornady, they have really good ballistics for their hunting ones. But if you're just going to be, going to the range to shoot Hornady bullets, I would advise against that because you're going to be spending more money than is actually necessary. That's just my preference, Grant. The Hornady bullets I keep for hunting loads. Al, have you done blackout rounds? It's on the list. I got the brass, so I know a lot of guys cut these 223s and the 5.56 ones down to 300 blackout. I've seen quite a bit of it during range pickups and getting inventory. I've seen quite a few guys cut this stuff down, so I might be whistling at that pretty soon here. It's a good question, Al. That one needs to be resized. I don't even, let me see. See, it's stuff like this. Yeah, it's not going to resize it. It looks a little better. See, that has a big dent in it. So this piece of brass is actually scrap. I won't run that. Into the scrap bin you go. I asked if you need to replace those spinny bits very often. I don't know exactly what they're called. You don't. They are they're very heavily machined and they got good it's good quality, so you don't typically have to. How do you buy most of your 22 caliber bullets? I use Natchez reloading supplies and order 500 at a time. So there's multiple sites. Um, I like to buy factory seconds for range shooting. Um, I've looked at Natchez. I've looked at a lot of those sites, but I like to run factory seconds. If it's just range stuff, I run factory seconds. So you can typically do like a Google search for factory seconds. A lot of manufacturers have them. But I've heard good things about Natchez, though. I think Powder Valley might have some good pricing. I'm trying to think of what else. Acme Bullets, they run more of a coated type of home, made in house bullets. Our RMR Bullets.com, they have some really good stuff. They have really good pricing too. I know one of the companies I used to order from actually recently went out of business because I had loaded a bunch of 357 and I got done with it. And by the time I got done, they went back to order more and they said that they sold the shop or the owner's retiring or something. So I was pretty disappointed in that. Yeah, yeah, Justin. But yeah, if it's just stuff for going to the range, I would stay away from the Hornady stuff because you're spending. I mean, they're pricey, but they're worth it. But I mean, that stuff's for like more of the hunting and precision type of shooting. But if you're just going with your buddies or your family or something, don't spend the extra money. And unless you want to, some guys like that. What gun do you use these 223 for? So I run a couple of different options. They can really be ran in whatever, but I use the Springfield St. Victor. It's a 223-556. It's a 16-inch barrel. That gun in particular doesn't have a lot of recoil to it compared to other budget firearms or budget ARs. Very low recoil to it. But they can be all right. What's your take on a 40 Smith and Wesson hot rounds? I mean, I'll shoot them. I mean, it's fun. It's really about your preference. Can you handle it, and are you proficient with it? Some guys can't handle hot loads. 40 and 10 is right around the same bullet. So it really depends on your preference. I mean, if you like to load them hot and you can handle it and shoot accurately with it, then go for it. I have a Hornady 12 gauge double zero, so I'm guessing that's buckshot for home defense. It costs me $4 per round, coming in a box of 10. That's pretty interesting, Grant. If I'm correct, that's buckshot. It's double O. I got some of that. It's good stuff. I don't have Hornady though. I just have God, what is that box called? Felter? I think it's Felter. Never had a problem with them. I keep my shotgun holes though, just for fun. I'm gonna end up reloading those pretty soon. What Wildcat cartridges do you reload for? I haven't gotten into the Wildcat cartridges yet. I got the brass. I got quite a bit of brass, but I'm looking at three. Was it 303 British? That's the cartridge I'm looking to reload next. 458 SOCOM. I'm trying to think of some other ones. There's some other ones that I have on my list. I have a nice list written out for the Wildcat cartridges. That's a good question though. Yeah, it is buckshot. Come with a fancy shiny box. Yeah, see, the one thing I told the wife, because she never understands why I keep all my boxes, is I mean, you're paying so much for the ammunition and it comes with such a nice box. You have to keep it. Like, you can't just throw that box out. Even with like an iPhone box. I mean, I have all my iPhone boxes. You can't pay that price for something like that and just throw the box away. I mean, those boxes come in handy and they're nice to look at. That's just me though. I mean, if they just come in like cheap cardboard boxes like this back here, then I'm just leaving it. I'm throwing it out. I want to look at it. I'm tired of looking at it. I did 270 SWM and 300 SWM and 7mm SWM. Yeah, those are some good cartridges. You know I can see you, right? Did you come to interrupt my live? It says message retracted. We're just, you know, having some fun with the community. I had 270 before you walked down here. Dylan says, yeah. But did it? Have fun. I will, Dylan. My hands are getting kind of tired. My favorite was 270 SWM. Yeah, I got that brass. I've been thinking about it. Being live is a lot of work. Or going to bed. Or so you think. I'm just kidding. Tedious. Very tedious, Dylan. Yeah, I'm going to try to entertain my peoples. How's the audio quality? You sure? It sounds a lot better than speaking right into the phone like you're like far away. If you could record like 5-10 seconds, 5-10 second clips and send them to me, that'd be great. Yeah, look, I don't even really hear this sound either. Really? I mean that one, yeah. But I was trying to do this earlier when you had came up to the garage initially, and you had told me about that because I forgot I had all this set up and I was about to do this earlier. So maybe like one of these nights, you know, make me nervous. Maybe one of these nights, you know, when you know we're not doing nothing, you can join the fun and like hop in the live or something. Yeah. You can see your Cruella DeVille face. See. Sort crayons, that's right. Reloading is so relaxing sometimes. It's good on my end. Audio is good on my end. Oh, here we go. Both is relaxing, reloading, and mag dump. See, Al, that's the spirit. That's the spirit, Al. See, Al, we need to have you in here more. He said mag dumps. That's funny. See, when you mag dump with homemade stuff like this, then it really doesn't matter because you're not looking at, oh, I just spent $30 on ammo. It's like, who cares? So I could be doing this, and you could be doing that. But you got to put a lot of lube on those cases. A lot. You know, you got to kind of like, you know, lube it up around the. You don't want to get it on the neck though, on the tip. You just want to get it like on the shaft part of it, you know. Why? I don't like that. Would you? I thought you were going to bed. I am. Huh? That's from. Like this. Oh, I was gonna say that's from holding me so tight. Al says, "Listen, Justin, it's definitely relaxing. I hate what he's doing right now. That Lyman Case Prep Station makes it easier for sure. Yeah, I'm not doing it with the traditional tools. I saw that and I said, no. Got to have like individual tools for like each one of these. Some guys have like, they look like stuff like this. And you got to like hand do it, like with this, like one piece of brass at a time. I'm not doing all that. You're annoying. See. All right, Dylan, have a good one, bud. Got to get ready for work. Yeah, we'll see you later. I ran. You put makeup on? No. It's like all sparkly. Hmm. I didn't hear you. You can leave the door open. Wait, you're not. Oh, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. Where are you from? I am from the U.S. This guy is from my. Wow. Are you from Iran? What time is it over there? I just dropped that brass. It's in the reject bin. I am from. I think it says I am from Iran. Do you need a license for reloading ammo? No, but you have to have safe storage. You have to store this stuff right. I started with hand. Well, I would say check your local laws, your local state laws. That's what I would do. I don't want to say no and get somebody in trouble. Just check with your city and state laws because they might have different regulations for it, but typically they don't. I started with hand tools. It sucked. What lube do you use? I really like the Hot Shot spray. So I have. I guess I can show you. So just talk about it. So I have some different options. I have the Lyman Quick Slick. This is okay, but I really only use the RCBS, lubrication. Uh, I would prefer this over anything just because it lasts a lot longer. It's all about preference, though. Grant, I heard Iran has cheap guns and ammo. Well, you don't want to get me on that. You don't want to get me started on that, Grant. I'm sure they do. I do know that there is a manufacturer out there that actually does make ammo. I'd have to look at my headstamp book, but I know that there. I saw one manufacturer from Iran out there, so that was pretty neat. What reloader do you use, Dylan? No, I've been looking at a Dylan. I can't get myself to buy it. It would probably be a lot easier process as far as loading. But I have the Lee progressive presses. That's what I started with. So I haven't really left that manufacturer of choice. So they're all Lee progressive 4000s. Uh, I did start with a Lee progressive 1000, but after I upgraded to the first 4000, I haven't went back. It's just a lot more. It's a lot more efficient, at least for me. But the Dillons, I've been looking at them. They're good presses over anything. But yeah, it's all about preference. You know, I'm sure once I go to Dillon, I won't go back to Lee. But for right now, we'll just keep running Lee. And, once once I feel the time is necessary, then we'll start running Dillon. I know there's a lot of automated presses and stuff out there too. Guys are using. Do you prefer 223 or 300 blackout? I would say 223. Just me. That's just my preference. Corey, I miss reloading. Certain satisfaction in it. Yeah, it sure is, man. I just, I try to make as much time as I can, even if it's only, for an hour or two a day or something. The prep work is definitely can definitely be some work, but it's worth it. 300 packs a punch, though. Yeah, I know, Al. Definitely packs a punch. It's a fun little round for, to bring to the range, let people shoot because they're kind of surprised by it. Really depends on how what kind of powder and how you load it, and what bullets on the end of it. But it can definitely be a fun one. You get a lot of the what is that type of things at the range, and pull it out the bag is what I like to call it. Yeah, I try to go live on YouTube more than anything because YouTube is a little more friendly with this specific type of content. Other platforms do not like it. It gets flagged almost instantly, so it's hard to get on those other platforms and do this. And it sucks because those platforms have to have a pretty large reach. But I didn't know YouTube actually had a live feature for a while. I just happened to come across it. I'm like, what is this? Hero, what are you reloading? 223. 223 rifle. Welcome in, Hero. Welcome to the chat. Twitch is weird. I haven't looked at Twitch the last time because I'm kind of a dinosaur to some people. But when Twitch first came out, Twitch was strictly like a gaming platform. I haven't been on it since. So I don't know what's changed, or I didn't even know that you could make a channel on there for this type of stuff. I have not been on Twitch in at least 15 years. At bare minimum. I mean, it's been a long time. Hero says nice. Yeah, welcome to the chat, Hero. The only thing I got to be careful with YouTube in specific is that they have copyright. So I typically have like background music or something going, but I don't want that to get flagged on the copyright. You know how much about 22 Creedmoor? I've been thinking about having one built for a coyote rifle. I used to have a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I regret to this day getting rid of that thing. But I definitely have all my brass I shot out of my 6.5 Creedmoor. That was a very, very good gun. Twitch Grant says Twitch is strictly a gaming platform, nothing else. You only have gamers as target audiences. Yeah, see, I didn't know that. And when I was on there 15 something years ago, it was literally all gaming. And I couldn't really navigate it. So I didn't know what was going on. But I've been out of the gaming world for, man, it's probably been 10 years. And I try to get back into it, but it's, I mean, some games are still fun to play, but it's like, as an adult with responsibilities and stuff and bills, it's like I almost feel like I could be doing something better with my time, something more productive, But I still like to get on when I can, but I have to have it justified for my time. I can't sit on it for 6, 7 hours a day or even at night anymore, as much as I would like to. I, Grant says, well, I didn't even see these other comments. And also other weird stuff. Yeah. Jim says, I've been watching. I need to get back to the bench and get back at it. Yeah, it's sometimes you can fall off for a couple weeks, couple months, couple years at a time. I mean, life happens. I try to make time whenever I can. I only play old games now, like Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 was actually that was definitely one of my games. I still have that. That was definitely one of my most fun games. We played that online a lot, quite a bit. New games are too much for me now. Yeah, I would say the same for me too. I like the Hitman games. Those are a little old school for me. So that's kind of what I grew up playing. Justin 6.5 is a great steel caliber. I just didn't like it as much for hunting. Yeah, I could say I agree. It has a lot of power to it. Gail the Gunsmith, welcome into the chat. You can send me your 6.5 brass as I reload it. I got quite a bit of it. I kept all my 6.5 brass. Every piece of it I kept. I used to love shooting that thing. I'm still stuck with Valve games. Oh, come on, man. We got upgrade. What's going on? Sandwich Eater. Left 4 Dead 2 equals 90% insta kill. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Left 4 Dead 2 was a good game, man. It was definitely a good game. Let's see, Ashley. Welcome to the chat, Ashley. Left 4 Dead 2 is the bomb. My wife and I still play it all the time. Yeah, that's one of them games that would never die. Even to this day, because it's been so long. They should almost make a third one. But if they're gonna do all that new age stuff and jetpacks and flying around, I'm not gonna play it. Keep it to where it is. 10%. You have been kicked from the session. Yeah, no kidding. Justin, I never get rid of my brass. I like to keep as much brass as I can. If I do get rid of brass, it's going to be handgun brass because I have so much of it, gratefully. 9mm, obviously, I'm not going to keep that around because you can get that pretty much anywhere. But I would say that's probably my only brass that I would be willing to part with freely is my 9mm. Never know when you will find a deal. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Ashley, heard a third one would be nice, and I agree. Keep it in line with the old other ones. No, and you have to. That's why I stopped playing like the Call of Duty series. The last Call of Duty I played, and I actually played like the campaign and single player and all that, would be Black Ops and Black Ops 2 when they had Nuketown. And I did hear the new Call of Duty had the new Nuketown on it, and I've seen some videos and stuff on it, but I don't know. I saw one of the Call of Duties had like jetpacks and there was people flying around. It's like, dude, I am not about to buy that. That is not Call of Duty. So I played every Call of Duty up until Black Ops 2, and I pretty much stopped because I once they got too futuristic with it. I mean, that's not for me in particular, and a lot of guys said that. Hero says, I'll take the 9mm brass off your hands. Trust me, there's a lot of it that gets processed, man. If you go through the channel and you see all those inventory dumps, a lot of that is 9mm, and a lot of that just gets recycled. I mean, I don't want it sitting around because it's a lot and it takes up a lot of space. Ashley, Call of Duty 2. Yeah, that was a good one. Sandwich in here, I think the only brass I've ever seen is 45 and 223 from my Gramps. Yeah, 45 brass for me is hard to get rid of because that is a round. If you reload it, um, if you start reloading it, you do save quite a bit of money on 45 brass, quite a bit, because that's a very expensive box to be shooting. At least for me. Sandwich eater jetpacks were from Advanced Warfare, which is true. I remember that now. Nowadays, it's just Nicki Minaj with too much bum and DI crap. Well, like I said, man, I'm glad I didn't spend the money on it because that is like Fortnite. Fortnite, I played it once or twice, but when I installed it on my console, it was free. That was a free game. So, that was way back when, but I never got into it. You know, it's just I saw the jumping around and all kinds of crazy stuff. Maybe it's for other people. I'm not going to play it. Jetpacks. That's crazy. When Call of Duty, when was Call of Duty ever about the military now? It's mostly just unsanctioned whatever. Yeah, ever since I think it was Modern Warfare with Captain Price. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the chat, but the Captain Price one, that was probably one of my favorites next to I think that was Modern Warfare. I think that was next to Black Ops 2. That was definitely one of my favorites. Hero, what rig are you working on? I want to get into reloading 223 and 300 Blackout. I have both of the reloading kits. So this is a Lyman Case Prep Express. They're probably a little more expensive now than when I bought it, but if you're going to buy it, I'd probably go on Amazon and look for a brand new one. That's probably going to get the best price. I hate to say it. If you have like a Cabela's or something nearby, you might overpay for it. But I think when I bought this back in 2021, it might have been about 149 or 139. It was somewhere around that range. So it's definitely, helped with the rifle stuff because a lot of guys in the chat and people that have been in here, I mean, they're saying they were doing this stuff by hand, and I've seen those hand rigs doing this stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know if I could do it because that is it. I don't know that that bothered me when I saw guys doing that by hand because it takes too much time. I mean, this speeds it up tremendously. Maybe that's just me though. Like I said before, this brass in particular, this is all head stamp brass. So this head stamp in particular has crimps on them, just like Lake City brass. For all you guys that know what I'm talking about, so I have to do extra work on it to get that crimp out of there, which is can be a pain in the butt. But I knew it before I started doing it. But every single piece of this, head stamp brass in particular is all crimped. So you see that nice, beautiful ring welcoming you. Sandwich eater by hand also more or less leaves more room for rookie screw ups. Yeah, and seeing that's the thing. You're exactly right, Sandwich. Ashley Davidson. The guys who do it by hand are using it as therapy. I know there's times I could use it. I could use some busy work. And I didn't look at it like that, so that's a very good point, Ashley. It can be very therapeutic. me in particular, I'm a smoker, so I have to be busy with my hands. It's just something, you know. So if I'm busy with my hands, the last thing I'm thinking about is, having a cigar or something. Justin, I don't reload pistol ammo. I just have a 380 my wife carried. I have a 9mm we shot one day and collected the brass to reload it, and I missed one of the 380 brass I found when I sat down to reload 9mm. Yeah, and that's another thing. The 380 is so small, but it looks so similar to the 380. 380 and 9mm. I've done that too. I have absolutely done that too. But you'll know it almost right away once you get it to, like, put powder in it and seat the bullet. You'll know something's wrong. So some guys catch it on the size and deprime stage. Scared me, so I never tried pistol again. I wouldn't be scared. It's just something that happens. I mean, I've done stuff like that too. It just makes me, go slower and take my time, more or less. But I would say pistol brass, like I said before in the, to you guys, the 45, 10mm, 357, and 380 are kind of your money savers there. When you collect enough 380 brass in particular, and you start reloading that, you're not going through any powder. I mean, it's like 2.8 grains or something of, some basic good powder, and you can make hundreds of rounds of 380 and not go through powder. So you're saving a lot of money on 380. It's so small. It's hard for guys to do it, but I love reloading 380. It's very satisfying seeing that you made that many rounds and you barely spent any money on powder. That's for damn sure. I found I found it sizing. Yeah, that's where you'll find it. A lot of guys do. Some guys don't find it until they seat the bullet. But like I said, I've made that mistake and I've done it. So, like, when I'm going through brass and stuff, I mean, I'll take my time. I'll double check stuff because I've done that. So believe me, I understand. And I think this machine's been running for about an hour now. It's not even warm. I know when I ran this thing for, I think it was like 2.5 hours in one session. I mean, it was kind of warm, but it wasn't, anything astronomical. Typically, if I'm not doing a live broadcast or something and I'm doing this, I'll stop every 30 to 45 minutes and clean this stuff because I don't like it to accumulate. I'll clean this stuff and I'll kind of let the machine rest. It's just, I don't know. I used to do some machinist work, so sometimes you want to let those machines rest. It's just one of those things. A lot of guys, oh, just run it. It ain't gonna hurt it. Well, I'm sure it won't, but I like to have this particular machine in 30 years. I don't want to just burn it up just because I don't want to take a break. Yeah, look at all that. Look at all that brass I took off. Some of this is corncob media too. But it's interesting coming on these lives because people, I know 2 weeks ago when I was doing a live, I had people from all over Thailand, Japan, Saudi Arabia. I mean, everybody was tuning in and jumping in the chat. And I'm like, man, I just thought it was, people in the US. It's like, no, people in the US are usually sleeping or getting ready for work or something. And like these guys were like, oh, yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and this and that. I'm like, man, this is nuts. And you're watching me? So it's pretty neat. I got a few more rounds in this bucket. I'm gonna finish up here. So if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to see the next live. I like that this machine in particular has this little catch basin for this brass. You can just sweep it in there instead of it going all over the floor. I don't have carpet in this particular area of the house, so it doesn't matter, but still, I like to keep it kind of neat and organized. And that's it for that bucket. 80 minutes it took for that particular bucket. I don't know how many rounds. I wasn't really counting. But I got another bucket I need to work on too. So we got 4 more to do. YouTube Al says YouTube algorithm is quirky. Yeah, it sure is, man. It's it's unique though. Justin, it's not gear driven. I left mine on for a week and had never heard it. Well, it's so quiet, You'll just forget that it's even running. I mean, you left it on for a week. That's crazy. I know I've left my dry tumblers because I got the Hornady ones. I left them on, overnight, or I don't know if I've left them on for 24 hours, but I've left them on overnight before. And they don't even get that warm. I know one of my first Hornady tumbler, I actually burned it out. I couldn't believe it. I went to go and tumble some brass one day and I hit it and it was just humming. But I wasn't mad. I mean, I was tumbling a lot of brass when I first started. I think I overloaded it. Ashley, okay, brother, at work now, so gotta run. All right, Ashley, we'll see you later. Appreciate you coming in. Yeah, I just got these last 3 pieces of brass I'm gonna run, and then I'm probably gonna sign off myself. So if anybody hasn't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can tune into the next episode of DJ Sports Reloading. We always like to have a good time when people come in here. I try not to have too boring of a live, especially doing this kind of stuff, because people are scrolling and they're like, what the hell is that guy doing? For people that don't know, I just tell them it's working metal. I don't think that they need to know the extras. I've had a lot of people come in here and judge what I'm doing, which doesn't really matter to me. But all this brass is going to be ready to reload. This is the last and final piece. I'm almost disappointed. I mean, I still have a whole one of these, but that's a different head stamp. Nice and clean. And that's it. So, might not look like a lot because this bucket is a lot bigger than it needs to be, but about 83 minutes. 83 minutes for that. But it's worth it. It's fun. But with that, I will be signing off. I appreciate everybody coming in and joining the chat, making this an enjoyable experience for everybody. So not too sure when my next live will be, but I'd say it'd be fairly soon. I like to do these lives at night. So if anybody's up and got your notifications on, you might see me pop up. But with that, I'll sign off and I hope everybody has a great day. Justin says, I went upstairs to help the wife with the kids. I forgot about it being on and went to work. Came back on Friday night and went to find out I left it on. Yeah, the kids will do that to you. You know, I've had to stop what I'm doing to assist with the children at times. You know, I try to help out as much as I can. But yeah, kids will definitely do that to you. But leave it on for a week, that's crazy, man. Yeah, have a good day, Justin. Have a good day, everybody. And we'll see you next time.